And good afternoon, South Australia, and welcome to Football Park for our second final week. It's the first and second semi-finals here in Adelaide today, and we've got some fantastic highlights of the first semi-final between Central and Norwood. What a great game that was. Currently in progress behind me is the second semi-final. Big crowd here at Football Park, and the score currently, I'll read it right off the scoreboard, is the Eagles race 7.55. They lead Port Adelaide 4-1-25, a 25-point margin to the Eagles currently here at Football Park, and we're midway through the second quarter. Well, it's been a big week this week, medal week in Adelaide, and we congratulate Gary McIntosh on what a fantastic score, and 22 points to win his first Magarey medal. He won it in 87, of course, but lost it because of an infringement of the rules. We also congratulate the under-17 McCullum medalist, Nathan Seale, and the Tonkin medalist, under-19, Leif Bates. Before we have a look at the pictures from that presentation, I will tell you that in Melbourne, the second semi-final between the Cats and the Blues, Geelong are 33 points up, and there'll be around about 12 minutes left to play there. But let's go to Tuesday night Football Park and the presentation of the Tonkins and McCullum medalists.
Firstly, I'd like to thank family, friends, my grandpa, who's not here. A bit nervous. I'd like to thank the Port Adelaide Footy Club for giving me the chance to play for them over the years, and my teammates, my coaching staff, and everyone else who's helped me through. Thank you.
Firstly, I'd like to thank my mum, especially my papa, my coach, Shane Reardon, excellent man. He's probably my best coach I've had so far. All the coaching staff, officials, trainer, Laurie, to get me through the season, and basically everyone that's helped me through my footy career. Thanks very much.
Yeah, special moments there for some young lads in young football. And again, congratulations to them. We also congratulate Paul Page, who wasn't there on Tuesday night, but he won the Magarey medal for the reserves competition. Talking about reserves, the first semi-final played today. West Adelaide 17-12, 144. Defeated Central Districts 10-9, 69, a margin of 45 points. The margin here in the second semi-final is 30 points in favour of the Eagles currently. Now, we'll have a look at the first semi-final highlights. We'll leave this game for a while. We pick up play 10 minutes into the first semi-final. Central District at 2-1 and Norwood are 1 point.
Jonathan Toombs, the red-leg defender, comes grandstand side, a drop punt kick, a high one. It'll reach the 50-metre line. Reimer's front position. From behind it was Arnold, who thumped the ball to ground. Now Stevens missed it. Schwert tries to reclaim it over the top of the ball. Great work, Russell. He really does the 1% things that very few people notice. And again, he just gathers the ball. Now look, from 20 yards, he gathered that ball in and held it in the area. He had no support from teammates, and they're the things that Neil Craig would be watching about Kim Russell's game.
Especially in finals, they're the things that count. On the centre wing position, up goes Primus and Arnold again. Primus just on top of that battle. Tough work in there. Primus holding the ball, and will be another ball up. Getting a bit aggressive in there.
Well, I think there might even have been a question asked of Matthew Primus about his aggression in a final. There was talk Barn might open up, so obviously the challenge has been issued to him to be aggressive from the start, and he's trying to make his presence felt, but I think just a touch clumsy at this stage.
Yeah, a bit nervous at the moment. Both sides wanting to assert their authority. And Central District at the minute doing that just a little bit better than Norwood. Norwood need a little bit, they need to get a score on the board. 10 minutes in, still on the centre wing position. Up they go. Primus again gets a tap onto Cowan, and Cowan, probably an easy free kick in the back, will take the kick from the centre wing position. Forward he goes. Bowman on the lead, got the set. Over the back, Burns running onto it. And the Central District half back line. No, Bowman onto it, brings it back into the centre. No one there at all. And Arnold puts it on. Terrible kick onto Daniels it is, breaks the tackle. Terrible kick. And has found Windsor.
Finals pressure is an unusual pressure. Some players flourish, others just cramp up. Abbott over the top to Cook, whose game last week against Port was also solid. Dantofia claims him, he threw it away. The umpire saw it too and says, yes, that's a throw. Jerry gets the free kick and plays on quickly. They're wasting no time, the Redlegs straight into attack to half forward. Chopper Hanley's obviously got the job on Irvin, who was so damaging last week against Glenelg. He was probably one of the best 2 or 3 for the Redlegs. A left footer, a long ball. Cowan was the target over his head. Robran, perhaps the kick was for Robran, but just short. Pitt missed it. Oh, claimed beautifully in the goal square underneath that. Cowan gets it on the left, and he gets the Redlegs first.
Simon Cowan coming down off that centre wing, picking up Scott Stevens, who's been a great find for Central District, and in the right spot. And for all those young players who want to play football, the right spot is right in the contest where the ball's going to come to the front, and had no problem putting through a check side. Well, Norwood's first goal at the 12-minute mark, just a settler, and they need to kick on from here.
So Scotty Stevens' man, Simon Cowan, gets the Redlegs first. That's been a criticism of Stevens as his defensive work, and he's allowed Cowan to get clear. Ellis tried to crash through the centre. Bassett the loose ball. A hurried kick to half forward finds Davey, the former Eagle player, claimed by his opposite number in Abbott. Now Irvin, also wrapped up by Daniel Healy, and the tackling is fierce.
Yes, David, both sides, cutthroat final. They want to get off to a good start. This will go right down to the wire, this one. Just at the half-forward line for Norwood. Right over the top was Arnold again, and McGowan gets it quickly on Potter in the right position, pushes it through, and it's no one can make headway there. Onto Handley, onto pick that up there in Abbott. Abbott kicks forward right over the head of Schwert, coming through Miller. Beautifully done by Ellis. Patterson again, right in the thick of things at the moment. Kicks to Davey, and Davey takes a strong mark in front of Abbott. Wants to move on quickly. Patterson runs through onto Rodman. Not a good kick. They've got to put it on his chest. Far to Central Districts will throw it over the line, and Potter in there making his presence felt.
Yes, it's good finals football by him. It's just hard and solid, not giving a quarter and not asking for any. Patterson 2, 6 is Cook. The opposite Rovers. Patterson has the top hand at this stage of the match. Bowman from behind won the tap out. It falls to Hereda, who gave it away to Stevens, who couldn't claim the ball. Now dead heat. Cowan over the top. Potter on the bottom where he usually is, and it's another bounce.
Potter, McGowan, Girdham. Three players in Central Districts really need to take control of this game. 20 metres out in front of Norwood's goal, and Norwood will dearly love another one. Todd Davey in there. No one can get a clean grab. Central District desperate to hold it in, and I've done that, and another ball up will occur.
Well, there's a fair amount of tension out there. The next goal, obviously, if Norwood get it, they're right back in this game. If Centrals get it, they start to eke away. I think both sides realise that, and desperation is the name of the game. Bowman took it out of the ruck, tried to race away with it. He was claimed by Arnold. Cook gets it off to Handley. Handley usually a forward, playing as a defender, and goes straight for the boundary line.
And it's those little things, those little tap outs in the centre, in the packs, like Norwood got hold of last week and got their run on playing. Central just at the moment controlling that. There's a boundary throw in on the 50-metre line. Again, Primus gets his hand on the ball, but Abbott comes through beautifully, kicks to centre wing there, looking for Schwert, and Scott Burns does it wonderfully well, and has been a fine player for Norwood all year.
Schwert appears to be ruck roving today, named on a half-back flank. Obviously didn't line up in that position. 25-year-old, a target of a couple of AFL clubs, I believe, who are looking for a player who can run as a tagger, which he can certainly do. This is Miller to half-forward off, played nicely by Primus. Big man strength, he tried to play on, gets off the handball. Bowman around the corner, goes forward in the direction of Robran. Beautifully taken, Windsor. Keeps the ball in front of him. Robran a good body, but it ricochets up to Windsor. They're running in numbers. Wakeland was there in support. The Windsor kick was a long one to Lurs. Lurs was under it. Pressure came from Miller. It sits up for Lurs, who goes short. On the lead is Reimers, and Reimers is there. He's got it, the big man. Beautifully positioned, and Reimers will kick for goal from 55 metres.
Reimers, beautiful lead and beautifully put. Central's kicking with probably a 2 or 3 goal wind.
So Reimers, who has one, now elects to chip off. The target was Richardson. It comes back with the handball, but it was smothered nicely. Now desperate work. Reimers again. Claimed, goes to ground. Miller juggles it, handballs it out to Toombs, who has support from Dantokia. Nicely tackled by Girdham. Patterson on the boundary line, under pressure from Stevens, and the work rate is intense.
And those doing the work, Girdham, the best tackler, one of the best in the league, along with his teammate Potter. There it is, throw in. Miller again against Reimers. Girdham in there, and lay on is the call. Burns again legged. No free kick onto Dantokia. And Davey spills the mark. Abbott, quick give. Onto Daniel. Daniel just belts it down in the vicinity of Richardson. Turns up early, beautiful punch away. Recovers the best is Richardson around the body. And not a good kick and out of bounds on the full.
We had very few other options, didn't he? There was no support, no talk around him, and plenty of pressure from Toombs. So he thought the option was to bang it onto the boot and at least make a score. But in the end, the kick went out of bounds on the full. We're 17, almost 18 minutes into this first term. The elimination final, the first semi-final, the loser is finished. A high fly from Dolan at the back of the pack. Did he give away a free kick? The umpire said yes. He flew into the back of a Central District player, undecided who it was, and finally the free kick goes to McKinnon. McKinnon will look to pass. No, he doesn't. He goes long. It's a long high ball and a woeful kick out of bounds on the full. First real show of a lack of discipline. He really had the opportunity to pass off and went for the long bomb.
Well, Alan Stewart wouldn't be happy with that. He's got to bring it to the head of the square.
Out goes the runner.
Daniels, 6th gamer for Norwood. Just a young bloke, kicks it down. David Burns in there, beautifully tackled. And that looked like it was Healy and out of bounds. Another throw in just off the 50-metre mark of the Central's line. Miller doing good work with Lurs there, gets the tap. No one in particular. Potter picks it up. McGowan fumbles, manages to get hold of it again. On to Ellis, and Ellis has a shot for goal. And he's put it through, and that's his first.
So Ellis gets his first for the Bulldogs. They lead 3-1 to 1-1. The margin now at 2 goals. Nothing in this match. But it would appear that the Bulldogs need to make better use of this breeze. They just ran in numbers. It was well set up by McGowan. He got through traffic, put the ball out in front where Ellis could pick it up. He had a clear shot for goal, and with the breeze at his back, snapped truly.
Central District's a reasonable start. Alan Stewart would be very happy at the moment. They want to probably kick through a couple more. And Neil Craig wanting Norwood to get at least one on the board, one more before quarter time. Primus, up he goes against Arnold. Arnold gets the tap. Davies run through and taken around the neck and will take the free kick. Good work, Davey. Ran at it hard and resulted in a free kick. Gets back quickly. Needs to find someone on this. No options. No one moving. Now he's kicked long. Bassett in there. And Pitt to the ground. Patterson in there again. And a ball up. Hanley in there, playing in a reasonably unusual position across half-back, although he's played a bit of his footy there, but mainly across half-forward.
Played a lot with St Kilda in defence. He was considered a nuggety, tough, give-all defender there. Converted to a forward with the Bulldogs. Led the club goal-kicking last season. And Patterson makes a tackle, holds the ball in the area. And players don't like what's going on out there, but it is an aggressive time. Alan Stewart shattered at last week's loss. Didn't want to hear about bad luck or you did well. He just wanted to hear the fact that they'd won and they didn't. Nothing else is acceptable to him. Getting a kick away quickly was Russell. Into space it goes. Array to first man there. Caught on the line by Bowman. Still manages a kick. It's beautifully smothered by Pitt. Out it comes to McGowan, working hard. The handball came back to Hanley. His kick goes forward. Cook missed it. Oh, Ellis playing the game of his life. Handballs it off to Stevens. Can he run and give some penetration? A long ball to Reimers. Out in front of Stevie Daniels. Daniels goes to ground. It's wrapped up, holding the ball. So the umpires are red hot on it today. You dive on the ball, they'll give it up straight away. Lures goes long out in front. Richardson got interfered with by Toombs, but the ball runs free across the line. We're 21 and a half minutes into the first term. Central's 3-1, Norwood 1-1.
The end result there, Toombs running into the back of Richardson and putting Richardson off guard, so working in Norwood's favour. Miller doing good work across there, especially in ruck at the moment. Lures on the bottom, gets it out to Healy. Healy around the body, and around the body to nowhere, and out of bounds on the full again. Well, Dan Tokia, one of the senior players for Norwood at the moment, playing across half-back, just to bring it in. Good work there by McGowan. Potter in there again. Potter always doing the hard work. Burns, Potter fall over the ball and out of bounds it goes. Well, Norwood just can't get any movement at the moment. Central District's holding them up.
Bulldogs playing the boundary line. Whenever the Redlegs go into attack, they're just slowing them down and playing the angles. Miller again in front of Lewis. He's clearly won the ruck tap-outs there. This is Russell giving it off to Scotty Burns. The half-back flanker drives towards half-forward. At the back, McKinnon, one hand to it, couldn't bring it to ground. Loeffler claims the ball. He's dived on by two central players. Parada was one, Schwert the other. And I wonder, gang tackling, goes to ground. No free kick there, but no chance of him escaping. This is Primus, the big thump. Abbott committed over the top of the ball, claimed by Irvin, goes to ground now. How did you see that, Michael?
Interesting, yes. They pinged a few and he did go over the top of the ball and bring it in underneath him, so maybe not as blatant as the other one. Central Districts by 12 points. Norwood need to get something here. Fumble by Girdham. McGowan in there again. Primus right over the top of the Central District player. Can't see who it was. And another ball up will occur.
Wakelin was the player with Abbott, and Abbott, it's quite remarkable. You see a pack at half forward, he's there. You see one at half back, and he's also there. It's almost as if he's ready-made when a pack forms. Arnold thumps it down. Stephen Pitt had the kick smothered by Girdham. The handball came from McKinnon to Wakelin. Was slick work. It goes forward to Schwert. Under the Burns, thumped it down. This is David Burns, handballing along the line. Scott Burns in support, forcing it over.
Well, Central's at the moment in close. Just working a little bit better, and Scott Burns, as we've called it, might be on his way to Collingwood next year. At the centre again, Miller in there against Arnold. Burns again gets the quick kick on, and Norwood needs something here. It's over the back. Pitt, well done, Wakelin, just spins out of trouble and pinpoints it beautifully to the captain in Roger Girdham.
His work rate's been good.
Girdham on. Looking for Remus again, and that's well done by the young Daniels. It's a big task. Daniels onto the centre wing position, and Mark McKinnon. Well, it's been a great find for Centrals and for the Crows. On the centre wing position, puts it out to the centre half forward position. Lewis in the front spot, beautifully punched by Miller, but Ellis crumbed it beautifully. Around the left foot was Stevens, in no one in particular. Bad bounce for Remus. Beautiful tackling by Schwert. They can get it out here. No, they can't. So the Norwood defence holding it up, and another ball up will occur. 30 metres out in front of Central goal.
So Barham waiting to come on. Primus will come off. They make their customary change 24 and a half minutes in. It's normally done at the 20-minute mark, the Norwood ruckman change. Miller, who's winning everything in ruck in defence, thumps it down. A loose ball develops, and Girdham, the other player who forms at the bottom of every Central pack, holds the ball. Primus off, Barham on. They've made the ruck change, the Redlegs. We're 25 and a half minutes into the first term. And Miller again wins the ruck tap out. It comes to Cook. He tries to get through. He hands it away almost to Reimers, who goes around the corner. They needed that, the Bulldogs. They have the breeze. They've now got 4 goals, 1, and Norwood 1-1, and Reimers gets his second.
Well, that's one that Norwood didn't want. They're just slipping behind slowly. And as I've said earlier, Central Districts just being able to get the ball out of the tight packs and giving it on to someone in better position. Cook it was, did good work out to Reimers, and he's a focal point for them at the moment. Well, Barham on for his first run. No, just off Burns in there, beautifully tackled by Cook, and Schwert it was, and Norwood just can't get anything going.
Well, Cook has been well beaten by Patterson in the opening quarter. He'll need to lift his possession rate. Patterson has 5 kicks. Cook, on the other hand, only has the 1. Barham thumps it down. David Burns claims it, but Cook there. And they're the things that Cook does, perhaps, that don't reflect on the stat sheet. The tackles and the smothers that he's done so well today, and the hard body at the ball. And later in the game, they become telling factors. Mill around the pond as players converge at the bounce. Barham won it. It comes down to Schwert. The handball was high over the top to Stevens. He needs the ball to sit for him. It didn't quite do that. He's good enough to get it back, however, to McGowan. The McGowan kick is a high one into space, and under it, Dan Tokia just fell into the hole. Now he's conceded 25 metres there. They'll need to make sure it doesn't bounce through. And thank goodness we're not in Columbia. Scott Burns, nowhere to go, just drifts it out. Bad work by the Norwood defence. And Schwert goes goal in the square, beautifully taken. Underneath that was Richardson, and the free kick's been given. Well, Michael, make what you can of that. The red leg defence certainly at best sloppy.
Well, Dan Tokia, as was called it, a senior player, has kicked it 30 metres behind play, put Scott Burns under all pressure. He just had no one to kick it to. Tried to kick it out of bounds and kicked it to Central District, and a beautiful kick by Schwert. Right in the spot for Richardson. Was never going to miss it. So Central's kick along.
Yes, and the Eagles in a commanding situation in that first semi-final, doing it pretty well. Well, it's half-time here at Football Park as I rearrange my earpiece. I'll just update, and I'll tell you the lead is by 31 points, the Eagles, and they're doing it pretty well here at Footy Park. In Melbourne, the second semi-final, Geelong 15-15, 105. They defeated Carlton 10-12, 72. An upset again for Carlton. That's a 33-point win to the Cats. As I said, it's half-time here at Footy Park. The Eagles have a 31-point lead. And it's time to continue our highlights. Let's pick up play in the third quarter. Central District are 9-5 and Norwood are 4-7.
Toombs with the kick out to Lachlan Bowman. Great crumb by Dave. He can't control it. Patterson it was. And another ball up thanks to the Central District.
More importantly, Michael, about that thing, it's the team things. When Central have been giving and giving and giving, they're encouraging run, they're encouraging teamwork, and you see an individual just choke it like that, and you really worry about their long-term future.
It's heartbreaking stuff. Toombs is over the top of it, Richardson, and the umpire calls for another bounce. Toombs all over him. He's dragged the ball underneath him. Then we saw the free kick earlier. Now that's holding the ball for mine.
Yes,
Umpire's called it.
I think you're right there, Michael. When you drag it back in like that and dive on top of it, that's clearly a free kick.
Kim Russell gets the ball up to David Burns. Good pace. Runs it over the boundary line in front of Healy.
Close-up view of the action. One spectator. Best seats in the house, of course, are here in front of the ABC cameras. Dan Tokia 36, 28 is Potter, 26 is Arnold, and 6 is Baum. Baum it was who won it, thumps it down in the direction of David Burns. He can't control the ball to give it to a teammate. Mercifully, umpire Bettridge will come in and bounce. 21 and a half minutes into the third term. The Bulldogs are 9 goals 5, the Redlegs 4 goals 7. The margin is 28 points. Baum has won everything since coming onto the field. McGowan and Burns, and you've got to say that Burns hasn't nullified the influence of McGowan since half-time. At half-time, McGowan had 12 and 8. He's now 16 and 14. So 6 handballs and 4 kicks this term, 10 possessions, not bad.
Both fine players for their respective sides. The ball gets out to Stevenson. Stevens it was. Couldn't control it. Loeffler's done well across half-back. And another bounce up. Well, Norwood can't seem to make headway in this third term, only kicking 2 behinds. Had the chance to kick a couple. As we see a move being by coach Neil Craig, Robert going to a forward pocket and Jason Miller into that key centre-half forward position.
The big men who were so dominant last week against Glenelg really have fizzled today. They've let the side down. This is Robertson, handballing to space. Russell went for the toe poke again, couldn't get it clear. Reimers was in there desperately, so too Bowman. Russell, number 12, dives on top of it. And 28, Potter. Again. For the 58th time today. I mean, it's an extraordinary story. Last year's best and fairest. Recruited from the Brisbane Bears. And when you look for a finals man, he's the one you're going to look to. He's just been as tough as nails. Bassett at halfback with the loose ball. Hurries it around the corner. Oh, great grab. Look at that grab, Healy. And he played on in the one motion. It was almost unbelievable, but he did it. What terrific skills. Lures now handballs inboard. And Girdham over the top. Richardson gets the benefit of the handball that he didn't give moments ago. Goes into the open goal and gets it. Look at Girdham. Disciplined son. Richardson was going out. He was going to attack Burns for that tackle. And Girdham came in and said, just hold your emotions in check.
Shows what a good captain he is.
Great skipper.
Does the hard work. But the Bulldogs are firing. Unselfish play by Girdham. Could have had a shot for goal. And Burns, obviously dejected, doing the unnecessary thing.
But what about this mark? This is an unbelievable mark. One-handed over the top of Burns and handballs it in the one motion. At the bounce, 10-5, plays 4 goals 7, 34 points the margin. And Adam Richardson, by the way, got his third amongst all that action.
And the free kick was for Craig Barham. Just had no intent going for the ball, just run straight into Arnold. Arnold with the kick. Oh, Ream is all by himself. Norwood's starting to be undisciplined at the moment. They really do need to tighten up. They've got to play the season out. They're not out of it yet, but they just haven't looked like doing anything. Lewis on the lead. It's out in front. And that's a great grab. He's in a bit of an awkward position on a cute angle, but the way the Bulldogs are playing at the moment, anything can happen.
So Simon Lewis, 6'5", 94 centimetres. That's a very difficult thing to do for a big man to get down to a ball like that, and he did it with consummate ease.
Well, Lewis yet to put a major on the board. He's not going to put one on this time, and out of bounds on the 4. Well, Norwood can breathe a bit easier at the moment. The Central District deep in attacking. Cowan brings it out, and Burns takes the mark just in front of the square. Got to move it on. No one to kick it to. Yes, Dan Tokia takes a fine mark. It's still going too wide. They've got no runners, no movement up forward. Miller goes for a beautifully read off hands by Cowan. Now he's got space, could give it off. Kicks towards the full forward, Pitt behind again. Wakeland doing a great job. Spoils it to Hanley. Bassett, fantastic stuff. Gets it back and cleverly kicks that through. That is fine work by the youngster coming across from half back, similar to Martin McKinnon. And Norwood get their 5th on the board.
Nathan Bassett, in only his 14th game, gets his 3rd career goal. This one he'll remember. Just persistence, wasn't it? Let it all up. Hanley just had the ball raked away from him. Robber and handballed it back. He kept the ball low. There was no option of a smother. He did it nicely. Everything was right. He really set it up from go to woe.
28-minute mark. Norwood would like another couple. Barham back in the ruck. Over the top, Arnold. It's tough in there, it's hard. And who's there again? Potter, and looked like Girdham.
Of course. Bulldog bench, Peter Jonas the runner, Coffey and Cook by the look of it sitting there on the bench. The thump comes down over the top of it. Davey claimed by Girdham. No free kicks to the umpire. 50 was Robertson, 36 Dantokia, and the young fan saying that the Bulldogs are number 1.
Well, they're not there yet. Got a couple of weeks left in the season, but on today's form and last week's form, they've got a fair chance. On by Reamers. Loeffler's got the run of it. Hotly pursued by Ellis. Can he control it? No, he can't. Ellis has done well. Davies over there to support. So is Healy. Good hard work by both sides there. Burns over there again. Gets the loose footy. Back to Davey. Back to Kim Russell. And, oh, terrible kick. David Burns this time on to Dan Tokia. And Lachlan Bowman's got a bit of space now. He can run. Taking 2 bounces, kicks it in the vicinity of Pitt, right on his head. He's not giving him much of a chance, and Wakeland spoils from behind. So really not giving their forwards any chance at the minute.
This term, Michael, hits him on the head. That means the ball's come in too high.
It's coming too high. They've really got to kick it at least 2 metres in front of him and let him run onto it.
Glad I've caught up with modern verbiage. The Bulldogs by 28 points as Michael Ace, the Red League champion, teaches us something new about football. Dantokia around the corner. Into space goes Pitt. Couldn't quite claim it on. Fleming, nicely done. Over the top to Robin. Put that one down to Fleming. He did the hard work. Did it nicely. Controlled the ball. And umpire Jeff Marsland indicates 6 points.
Well, that's great work. That's what win finals. The tough, hard, aggressive work. Matthew Roderick hits his 2nd. And Norwood, well, they're not giving in. No side gives in finals. Build character.
$22 points the margin with a quarter or so to go. And the Redlegs can still get up and advance to next week's preliminary final. Crashing through. Good work. Falls to McKinnon. 3 goals from half-back. A pretty solid effort. Potter now, this way and that way, gives it back to Arnold. The big man is mobile. Evades a tackle on Bassett, gives it off to Girdham. A starring roll. Long and Reimers in the box seat. Oh, he dropped it. He hasn't dropped much today. Richardson handballs now. He's found his hands. Robertson gives it off to Stevens. The siren sounds seconds, and at three-quarter time in the first semi-final, Central 10 goals 5-65. Lead the Redlegs 6 goals 7-43. The margin 22 points, and the action on ABC Sport.
Yeah, some fantastic footy here. We've been blessed with great finals in South Australia over the last couple of weeks. I'll just update the second semi-final. The Eagles are 8-8-56. Port Adelaide are 4-1-25, a 31-point margin in favour of the Eagles. We've just started the third quarter here at Football Park. Well, let's get on with more highlights of that. A very exciting first semi-final. We pick up play at the start of the final quarter. Your commentators joining me are Michael Aish and David Mackay.
The final quarter gets underway, and this is the first semi-final. For one side, there's only 30 minutes of football left, and the Bulldogs, you would expect at this stage, are red-hot favourites to take out this match. Burns got away a kick. It was claimed by Schwert. He goes to half forward. It was a wobbly kick. First man there, McKinnon. Look at the pace of him. He just crashed through. He came from nowhere. Bowman thumped it out to Loeffler. Loeffler was taken high. The advantage rule plays, and Irving, who's been so quiet and spent much of the third term on the bench, thumps the kick forward. This is Miller. Played a terrific game at centre-half back, but they're robbing Peter to pay Paul at this stage. And they've shifted him to centre-half forward to try and get something going. Joining us for the final quarter of commentary in this match, Neville Roberts.
Yes, thank you, David. And a 22-point margin now in favour of the Dogs. Wouldn't they love to win this one? The first one in 22 years. Schwert, finally, a quick left footer. Irvin, kick 5 last week, showing some talent. 4 it was, and a beautiful kick. Fleming on the bench a bit today, but they need him to fire. And just before that, we saw what Centrals have been doing the whole of the day in breaking tackles, and Irving did that and put it right on the chest of Fleming. They need to get a couple of quick ones, the legs. The kick is good, it's straight. They needed it badly, the legs. That might spark them. That's his first. And Fleming started on the bench last week and this week, and when he came on in that second term, gave Norwood something across half forward, and normally a pretty reliable kick for goal.
So Fleming, the Fitzroy reject, kicks his 40th goal for the season for the Redlegs. He spent a couple of matches in the reserves as well. And now the margin back to 16 points, as it was at three-quarter time. There's still hope for the Redlegs. 3 goals in this competition is nothing. Baum drives it forward. They need to get some emotion in their game, the Redlegs. Now this is Windsor to Hanley, who's been extraordinarily confident. Daniel Healy, who's done a good job of nullifying Burns on a wing. Around the corner he goes. Alice, who's also been solid. So you look through this Bulldog side, and they've got good players everywhere.
I tell you what, I knew the runner would be going out to Matthew Robin. He was 3 metres behind Windsor then, and really given Centrals a shot at goal, and they might just get it. Yeah, not good enough from a player like that. You can see Craig's head go down when the ball came in. Matthew probably not concentrating as well as he should, and caught, as Michael Aish said, well behind. Okay, 10-5-65, 7-7-49. They've been let off, Norwood, when they're making their break to get back in this game. It's well within them just how much they want to do it. How many people are prepared to get around the footy? All alone, no contest. Not good enough, the Redlegs. They've got to go with the players. This is Lures.
Well, let's remember too, Neville, it was the Redlegs who bundled the Bulldogs out of the finals in last year's elimination final.
Some of their own bag. Shot is good. Well punched away. David Burns, plenty of touches. Girdham strong. McGowan backwards. Again, a chance. Girdham. Rush kick. Plenty of pressure there, though, and close to the line. So in that northeasterly boundary, a throw-in. We haven't had the shot at just a bit earlier. Girdham taking a big one there, but David Burns really just tried to rake the ball in and should have put his body behind it just a minute ago.
From the throw-in, Ellis wraps it up. Scott Burns was at the bottom of the pack. Very good crowd is built here at Football Park as we're 4 minutes into the final term. So let's say about 25 or 26 minutes left in 1994 for one of these sides. The Redlegs aren't out of it yet. They trail by 17 points, correction. Around the corner, Lures couldn't get there. The kick was out of bounds on the full from Hanley. If you have a look at the stats, Michael, not much in the kicks or the marks, but the handballs favour the Bulldogs.
Yeah, one other stat that's not there is the tackling. Be very interesting to see. Central District has been very good in that department all year.
30 tackles for the Bulldogs, 17 for the Redlegs.
Tells a story, doesn't it? The pressure. McGowan hasn't had a lot of pressure on him today. His chopper handle, he dives. And it's ruled out on the full. So the Redlegs will take it. Russell from backward of centre runs 30 metres and kicks it long. In front, Miller, good catch. They need to move it on quickly. He's got Fleming in space, and behind him, Robran. The latter will jump, so will the former. Punched away, a charge. Irving, he's a left footer, he's on the wrong side. He'll run it all the way with pace. What's he done? They're on the way back to legs, and Irving sparked them again.
Irving kicking his first. Good competition by Robran, but beautifully crumbed by Irving. He's been a bit down, but used his pace. He was a left footer, and the check side has put Norwood back in this. The 5-minute mark of this last quarter, and the legs 11 points behind.
An excited Redlegs team. 10-6, 66, 8-7, 55. They've halved the margin since three-quarter time in just 5 minutes, the legs. Gurdon. I'll put the pedal down now, the Dogs. They did last week. This is McGowan. Around the corner, Remus. Big punch away, Bowman. Loose ball. They need the numbers. Bowman, like a rover, loses it up to Remus. Went behind him. Beautifully dodged around Davey. Desperate football from the legs. A chance now for Cook. Doesn't panic and puts it up high. Beautiful take, Handley. He's got to pay him.
Nathan Bassett calling it, it's hit the deck, but Hanley using the experience, and he's put it through. A settler for the Dogs, and he's kicked his first after coming back from a half-back flank, or playing most of the day on the half-back flank, and that's a settler for them.
Too right it is. We just watch how Cook has a look. Lifted the eyes, saw Hanley. Now with his body, he got inside Bassett, did put it down. Our cameras can't, we're unsighted to see whether it hit the deck or not. Bassett thought it did, didn't matter. First goal.
And the bounce down into a bum. He's been very good in the ruck. Nothing can be done on that one. It's a stalemate, and we'll have another bounce.
Barham's been pretty solid in the ruck. He's given them a dimension of aggression. One feels that that will be a question mark asked of Matthew Primus. Big match aggression. He tried it early, but he was very clumsy. Something he'll need to work on. Irving pumped it into space. Cowan over the top of the ball, inside the 50-metre square. The Redlegs have been pretty solid at midfield. Their centre breaks are 8. Central have had 11, so there's not much in that stat. But wouldn't you know it, the Redlegs are back in the hunt. What would be going through Alan Stewart's mind? He saw a win against Port Adelaide evade him last week. Irving through traffic. He's been so quiet all day. Windsor towards the line. Did well. Pitt there. And what a ball game as Coffey warms up on the boundary.
Nathan Irvin really had plenty of time. Well, he just should have kicked on his right foot, and you've just got to be able to do that, right and left foot at this level, at any level.
I agree with you, Michael. I was thinking just the same thing. But he was limited, wasn't he? I thought he might give up the footy to the inside. There was a player there, but he decided to carry it. We're 8 minutes into the final quarter. And it's 11-6, 72. Norwood 8-7, 55. And Toombs onto the ground against Coffey. Davey, caught. Desperate football. It won't go anywhere from there. We'll have another ball up. Much in this breeze, Michael, you think?
2 goals early. As you caught a Coffey coming onto the ground, and Richardson has had a reasonably quiet day coming off.
Bounce down. A chance now for Fleming. He took it off the ruck. Couldn't go anywhere with it. Cooked the ground. And, well, there's still a chance. There's still a chance, Norwood. It's the breeze blowing to the left of screen or virtually across the ground more than anything. No real advantage to anybody.
From the ruck throw in. A loose ball down. Burns Oh, did well to give up a handball. He was swamped by 3 central players. Baum gives it to Burns into the open goal. Burns has got it. Well, look at this. We're back to 2 goals the difference, and the Redlegs are on the run.
Plenty of spirit in this Norwood side, this young Norwood side. Neil Craig wouldn't have been happy 3 quarter time. We've just told him what's expected. Just get out there and give it your best. They're doing that at the moment. And Scott Burns, who's been one of Norwood's best today, caps that off with a brilliant goal to edge Norwood a little closer.
16 kicks, 11 handballs. He's found plenty of the ball, Burns.
(11-6) plays 9-7. Only 11 points in it. 2 straight kicks for the Dogs. Forward they go. A charge for Miller. Can't quite take it. Cowan. A rated to ground. And Alan Stewart, wouldn't be far off a cardiac arrest, would he, after last week? Doesn't need another close one, Michael.
Doesn't want it to go at extra time, I can assure you of that.
At the bounce. Harada thumps it to ground. 7's Davey, 21 is Burns, and 28 Potter yet again on the bottom of the pack. His work rate is unequalled in this match. Perhaps Girdham's work, and Alan Stewart sits pensively. He needs his players to lift. They've led all day. In fact, they've been rock solid till now. Dantokia tried to handball it away to Cowan. He couldn't get the handball away. Patterson appeals for a free kick against McGowan for holding the ball, but the umpire wasn't impressed. It'll be a bounce. Almost 11 minutes into the final term. And this game, as Michael H predicted at the opening bounce, was one that would go right down to the wire. He's certainly been proved correct. Cowan threw that one out. Patterson, a hurried kick. It was smothered. It comes to Burns. It wasn't smothered. So it was just an ugly mongrel kick. And David Burns marks 25 metres out directly in front.
David Burns been a fine player and a win for Norwood today. Giving them plenty of drive. He's got a chance. Should put this through, kicking with the wind. 30 metres out.
10 kicks and 10 handballs make that 11 kicks, and his 11th kick has gone through for a goal. So the margin now, instead of 11 points, is back to 5, and the Redlegs come back within a goal. Another goal here. Their tails are up. They have the breeze at their back, and anything could happen.
Well, we saw last week Norwood come home with a wet sail. They kicked probably 6 or 8 goals in the final term to destroy Glenelg. They've come back this quarter, and they've kicked 4 already.
11-6, plays 10-7. What a ball game. We've had a fantastic final series so far here in Adelaide. Just the 3rd game. Baum off the ground. The crowd go berserk. Beautifully done, David Irvin. A kick in towards Baum. Is it Robin on the ground? Gets up, does it beautifully, knocks it forward. Shepherd, one of you, should be the call. Robin keeps it in, goes for the reverse punt. Oh, he had players inside too, but he was under a lot of pressure in his defence and didn't get a chance to look in.
The crowd's come alive now. Norwood hit back.
Robin, 2 goals and 2 out of bounds on the full. And his other out of bounds on the full was in the first quarter. In the second quarter, correction, where he did exactly the same thing on the far side.
Very interesting to note how much that extra time took out of the Bulldogs. It's a bit worn.
It's a question now of character. Have the Bulldogs got it? And if they have, they're a worthy contender for the flag. If they haven't, they'll be bundled out. Miller, the big fly crashing through, was Potter, last year's best and fairest winner. He can do no more for his side. He needs a few mates to lift around him.
Potter, a brilliant player along with Girdham. Their on-ballers have been great all year.
So from a 30-point advantage at quarter time, back to just 5 points. The Dogs, they need to settle. And beautifully disguised by Cotter out of bounds. That's where it's supposed to go.
This is Norwood's 28th first semi-final. There's not any other club in the competition who's played more than 16, so they're pretty experienced in this position. And it runs right through the club. They just know what to do and when to do it. Girdham got it out to Healy, who in turn had Arnold. The big man was running. He chips it up for Hanley. From behind, Bassett thumps it, and it's across the line. And never, when you think about it, it was the Redlegs that bundled the Bulldogs out of last year's elimination final. And could they do it again?
Well, time will tell, David. I don't think anyone can pick a winner from here. It really just gets back to who wants to more. And the side that is prepared to do the hard work and is smart with it, and I mean smart in the sense of you know, doing the right things and giving the footy up, getting the numbers, doing the defensive work. And some disciplines. This is a disciplined man. 1984 Gary medalist Gary McIntosh. Barn, very clever. To Patterson long. Miller, gee, they need him to fire. Behind is Abbott, to ground, in his back, no free kick. The ball is held up and held up well by the dog defence. They're at half forward, the Redlegs.
And Michael, I think it would be fair to say the turning point has been the presence of Craig Baum on the ground rather than the interchange bench.
Without a doubt, we came into the ruck right from the word go when he came on and put it to Norwood players.
They also had a run at centre-half forward where he created some holes by attacking some of the Bulldog defenders. It's allowed the Norwood little men to run a bit taller. Oh, great Mark Swert. His first half was a classic. Kick number 11 for him, 9 handballs. Quiet day by his own standards. He had 40 possessions last week along with Girdham. Wakeland goes to the outer side. They're playing the boundary line pretty well, the Bulldogs. They're making sure that the Redlegs can't stream it straight downfield and score quickly. As the throw comes in, it's Central by 5 points. Baum in ruck opposed to Coffey. Coffey will need to show something here. He needs to beat Baum. Cowan got one high and the free kick.
So Cowan from the centre of the ground. He just pop it in long. Fleming and Miller go for it. Fleming, a chance. It's bounced off his chest. This is McGowan. Defensive kick is poor, but he had no chance to look up, and Baum takes it. Now he'll try and use it, and he'll try and use it properly. They need to open up that forward line. Just pops it in again, and that is useless football by the legs. When you've got the footy and a chance to give it to a scorer, Michael, you really have to open up the spaces.
You've got to do something, and you've got to play in front, and the Norwood forward lines aren't doing.
Coffey, number 2. What they've experienced, they're often criticised for being just a little bit laconic about his football. He puts it up towards centre wing. Bowman at the back, Hanley there as well. McGowan hands and knees, caught holding on to him without it. Around the body was Chopper Hanley. Daniels, Lures is caught. Bassett's got him. Umpire says, holding on.
Fair enough too. Just held on a little long. Lures is working hard, the big man. There's not much left in those legs. He'd be pretty tired. It's a hot day and he's done plenty of running. Oh, nicely placed. Hereda, 2 bites at the cherry. Burns had him in the sights and couldn't finish him off. Hereda now chips it into space, and Healy, drifting down from a wing, has marked inside the 50-metre line. Now Burns attacked Hereda and then had to get back to Healy. And you'd ask the question where David Burns is, Healy's direct opponent.
Yeah, a lot of good work by Scott Burns. His run all day would be tired. So is David Burns. But your defensive role is probably the most important part of a game.
Stephen Daniels, who hasn't kicked a goal in his league career. There'd be none more important than this if he gets it. And he froze as he faced the big sticks. And he's hit the point post. It's out of bounds on the full. Well, when you haven't kicked a lot of goals or any goals in league football, those goals look very big. Oh, in fact, he's kicked 6, correction.
Yes, it's can be a bit overawing if you're in a final with desperate goals to be kicked. Play on, the umpires are letting it go. McGowan just punches it in long. Lures at the back, Remus at the front, they can't take it. Hanley, desperate play, Remus, and a ball up. So 5 points still, a nervous crowd, and plenty of them here today. SANFL would be delighted with the crowd. They'll be delighted with everything that's happening in footy in South Australia at the moment. There's plenty to talk about. Big chance for Bowman, Cook too high on Russell, Davey, and Girdham to the line.
You must acknowledge, Michael, while it's been a shame that the Crows haven't played in the AFL finals, it's been a bonus for the SANFL. It's brought people back and they've recognised the quality of the product has really improved in the last 2 or 3 years.
It has, and there have been 3 fantastic games and another one today.
Loose ball, falls to Russell. Now they're running the Redlegs. This is when they are at their most dangerous. Good shepherd by Bowman behind play on Ellis. It's allowed the run to come through Russell. Handballs to Dan Tokia. Back it comes in the 1-2. Slick work by Dan Tokia. This is inspirational by Russell. 6 bounces, drives it long. Who can get there? Fleming. And Schwert thumps it over.
Great work by Kim Russell, but he didn't weigh up his options well enough. He had David Burns on the inside, and his kick to Fleming leading right into the pocket.
The important thing about that, Michael, was that Burns could have taken it back inside again and opened up the face of goal. But he committed the kick to a player that had nowhere to go. Patterson caught, holding the ball surely.
Well, she's hotting up now, and that's fantastic Well, it was a great tackle by Potter again, and as we've called it today, Girdham and Potter, two of the best in the league.
Done like a dinner for tackles, the Red League so far, and it's a display of pressure by the Dogs. McKinnon been a star with 3 of the half-back flank. And we'll look at not much in kicks, 10 more marks, the Dogs, a heap more handballs, not much in the free kicks either. A chance at the back, McGowan owns the footing, just owns it. Short and good.
40 possessions for McGowan, Rock. And he's found Lewis, who goes long. Reimers, he needs the mark, and he has. Now, this is what the Bulldogs need. The question hangs over some of their big men under pressure. Coffey one and Reimers the other. Now, Reimers is an up-and-coming star, but he needs to lift in big matches. The kick is way out to the right. Underneath this one. Oh, beautiful mark, Toombs. Did well, used his body superbly. Hasn't played much senior football this year.
Has his critics, Michael. Might not have been up to it, a lot of people thought. Finals footy. Toombs.
Well, he's come back. He's on his 2nd league game for the year and is a lot better after last week.
I thought he was pretty solid in last year's finals. I think the criticism was a bit harsh. A high ball underneath it. Oh, Miller, who's terrific at centre-half back, now is starting to play a role at centre-half forward. He gave it off to Baum, but because Miller was so far downfield, there was no one up further to give it to. Abbott shovels it out to McGowan, who handballs inboard. This is Daniel Healy. A handball long. Over the top it goes. Hereda, rare mistake for him. Good enough to recover and strong enough to get through. This is Cook to half forward underneath it. Reimers couldn't take it in. Bassett claims it. And Lewis calls for holding the ball, but the umpire wasn't convinced.
Well, it could have gone either way there. I don't know if we've got a replay, but I thought he might have been taking it a little bit too high. And the umpire's called it a 50-50, so he's going to bounce it. Here we go. Oh, no. Correct decision.
Always good, the replay. And another ball up. So still 5 points. The margin here in the first semi-final at Football Park between Norwood and the Dogs. And for Central, just been a pressure 10 days, hasn't it? They just can't get an easy football match at all.
Well, they've lost 6 of their last 7, Neville, and yet they've gone into this match as favourites.
Well, that was the irony of last week's game, and we did chat about it last week. I found it hard to believe their reversal in form. Patterson, no, big jump from behind Cook. That's Coffey, I should say. Irvin having a part to play. Cowum loses it. Desperate work, Stevens. And Tokyo. We'll see plenty more of that today before it's finished, Aishi.
Well, there's tired bodies out there at the moment. It's all desperation stuff. And the Bulldogs looking for their first final victory in 22 years as we see Arnold coming off for a bit of legs around the forward line in Robertson.
Robertson comes on. Yes, they're looking for some pace. Smother, handball from McKinnon. This is Healy conceding ground to McGowan. A high kick to half forward. Lewis will need to make some ground. He got there but couldn't complete the mark. Russell hurries the kick to space. Burns is out there, and Irvin, who was so very good last week but really has struggled in the first half this week, has come alive in this final turn. Pushes it long to Miller. Staying at home now at centre-half forward rather than playing downfield. He drives it long, pits the target, pits underneath it, sets himself from behind the spoil from Wakeland. Potter missed it. Windsor kicked it off the ground. It comes to Davey. He feeds it back to Toombs. Toombs from fullback and kicked it like a fullback. 1 point. A goal there would have put them in front.
Well, he's had plenty of time. Obviously nervous, but no talk. And he just threw it onto his boot. He just had to settle, and he could have put it through.
Tell me, Michael, if you were carrying the footy there, Fleming, would you have given it to Robert and he was short on the angle?
Would definitely give it to Robert. A bit more experience. Some of the options that Norwood are taking, maybe just the pressure showing a little bit. Baum in the middle of a pack of Central players. Hit. Baum into attack. So nobody though. Ray Windsor. Short and loose to Wakeland. They mess it up, the Dogs, and lose
It's a
it
free
at
kick,
half-back.
Rocky, to Wakeland. Wakeland was taken high behind play, and the umpire saw the infringement and has given the free kick. So this is a good steadying time for the Bulldogs. They'll learn something if they can win this, and that is how to win a final. They haven't won one since 1972 when they defeated the Redlegs in a first semi-final. The kick is short. McKinnon marks at half-back. They haven't gained much ground, but they certainly have covered some time. We're 24 minutes into the final term. There'll only be perhaps another 3 or 4 minutes in this match. And the Bulldogs need to play possession football. Girdham has been very good to Schwert. The star trio, along with perhaps 4 of them, Abbott, Schwert, Girdham and Potter, the real stars for the Bulldogs today. Schwert to half forward. Behind, Lurs did well, thumped it into space. Coffey now tries to bring it back soccer style along the ground. It runs for Robertson. He's just come onto the field. It doesn't sit for him. Russell gives it out to Toombs, who handballs in turn to Davey. Through traffic, he gets away a handball to Bassett. A high kick to half back. It's good work by the Redlegs. They're going forward. And nicely played, Schwert.
Well, they were done like a dinner in defence there. It was some beautiful work by the Red Leg defence to get that out. And committed was Robertson, but he was caught, dispossessed, and the Norwood defence stood firm. That could have been the end of their season there, just in that square only seconds ago. The scores have been about 5 or 4 points the difference for some 10 minutes, and we're into time on in this first semi-final. The crowd is building up, the weather is magnificent, and the game has been very, very entertaining.
Well, this is finals football. The Bulldogs led by 30 points at quarter time, 16 points at half time, and 22 points at three-quarter time. And going into the final quarter, nobody could have predicted this red leg turnaround. The margin is now 4 points, and we're 30 seconds into time on.
The Dogs by 4 points. They led by 7 points with 20 seconds to go last week, and finally lost the game in extra time. They won't get many chances. There hasn't been many goals this quarter. Robertson caught. A free kick to the legs. Russell could be their last foray. In they go. Burns is there. Fleming. Oh, big catch, Gal. Super catch for his height. He's got it loose through the centre in Dantokia. He'll hold it and hang on to it. McGowan's got him. Off goes Robert. Play on's the call. He goes long. He wants Pitt. He takes the front position. Big catch. Big catch, Windsor. Or McKinnon, is it?
That was McKinnon, Rocky, who's also played so well. And what a pressure mark that was. He came 3 deep, 3 bites at the cherry, and that is a final winning mark, if ever I've seen one, if they held on. Wakeland to the outer side. Loeffler missed it. Robertson tries to butter up for a second chance. Wakeland crashed through. That's a throw from Patterson. The umpire let it go. Gives it off to Miller. Miller goes long, and Burns is under it. Healy did well. And now the Bulldogs need to work it out of defence. 26, almost 27 minutes gone, and Bassett, the young star, marks at midfield. The Red Leg fans call for him to get on. He's only 17. The pressure is telling. A big fly. Robin couldn't take it. McGowan brings it down. Windsor, a hurried kick. It goes to Patterson. He tries to get through, but he's claimed by McKinnon. That's holding the ball, and McKinnon saves the day again.
27 minutes gone, and he had no way of getting through there. Maybe a bit unlucky, but he did try to break the tackle, and that's the rule. McKinnon, he has possession. They go backwards. They want to hang on to it and waste time. Maybe a minute left, maybe not that. Stewart holds together pretty well. So the Dogs, they try and clear the ball. They set themselves. Bowman gives up the footy to Lewis. Should have watched the ball instead of his opponent. And at half-back, Lewis well up from half-forward has the footy. Short to Girdham. Possession. They have to break it up, Norwood. They'll only get one more crack at it if they get that 4-point margin. You have to back the Dogs from here.
Still plenty of time for the Redlegs to get back. They just need one attacking foray. Coffey at the back pushed out his opponent in Balm. The loose ball comes to ground and it's a bounce. This will work in favour of the Bulldogs. And the siren sound. Alan Stewart finally wins a Bulldog final. Their first since 1972. The monkey's off his back for Alan Stewart. And the Bulldogs win a final. Only the third coach to take them to a victory in a final. And what a great moment for Alan Stewart and his Bulldogs. He's asked them for honesty, he's asked them for commitment, and he's got it today. And he joins Dennis Jones and Tony Casserly as Bulldog coaches who have won a final. Alan Stewart.
Yes, what a fantastic win. A 4-point victory for the Bulldogs here at Football Park. There's the quarter by quarters. A great start, Central District, 30 points. And Norwood fought their way back into it, but finally they went down by 4 points. 22 years since the Dogs have won a final. McKinnon with 3, along with Richardson. Reimers kicked 2 and Ellis. And for Norwood, it was Robran and Pitt who led the way there. Not enough of them, though. They expected more from those 2 players. The stats tell us a fair story. Central controlled most of the free-running play. And the one that's not on there is the stat in regards to tackles. And I can tell you that Central District had a lot more of them. And that, I think, in the end, really told the story. Well, it's nearly three-quarter time here.